Whether you believe in extraterrestrials or not, the prospect of intelligent life beyond the confines of Earth is enough to send shivers down your spine. Alien movies have played on our fear of the unknown for decades, with their hypothetical nightmare scenarios. We as a species are obsessed with the possibility of life on other planets and the concern that such life might not come with peaceful intentions. As a result, we imagine alien abductions, experiments, and body swaps, further fueling our paranoia about aliens and their hidden motives. An entire subgenre of horror has emerged around alien encounters, which really took off in the 1980s after the success of Ridley Scott's Alien movie. Since that time, 6 standalone films have been released in addition to crossover movies with the Predator franchise. But besides the aliens in the Alien franchise, there are still several terrifying aliens in some of the movies about creatures from another world. In this list, I've gathered some of the most terrifying aliens in movies. Number 7. The Martians. Mars attacks. The Martians, also known as the Martian Army, are the main antagonists of Tim Burton's movie Mars Attacks. On their first landing in the Nevada desert, they initially appear to be peaceful beings, but they begin attacking Earth's troops shortly after, nearly gaining control of Earth. The Martians first appear broadcasting a massive television message across the United States, in which the Martian ambassador says something in their own language. English professor Donald Kessler manages to translate their message. Even without understanding the message's translation, they discover that the Martians will land in the Nevada desert and organize a grand welcome, which is being broadcast worldwide. However, the meeting goes terribly wrong, and the Martians are hostile, killing almost everyone in the area by turning them into skeletons and kidnapping a news reporter. Still wanting to make a peace offering to the Martians, Kessler and U.S. President James Dale propose a meeting at the United States Congress with the Martian ambassador. But once again, it ends in disaster as the entire Congress is turned into skeletons by the Martians and Donald is captured. After a failed attempt to assassinate the president, the leader declares a total invasion on Earth and attacks many famous cities worldwide. Meanwhile, in Kansas, Richie Norris and his grandmother discover the Martians' weakness for high-frequency sounds. At the same time, former boxer Byron Williams confronts the ambassador in the ruins of Las Vegas and breaks his helmet, causing him to die from asphyxiation. Richie manages to broadcast the high-frequency song worldwide, shattering the brains of all the Martians, including their leader. Unlike previous films, these Martians are invading Earth solely for their amusement. These aliens have no feelings of remorse or mercy towards humanity and only act in a hostile manner, though they stop attacking in certain situations. They are also very curious about human behavior and manners, abducting humans for their experiments. These Martians are incredibly comedic, with little to no knowledge about the human race, but they don't care as long as they have weapons and things to destroy. Their language consists only of sharp acts. Number 6. Attack the Block's gorilla aliens. The alien gorillas are the main antagonists of the 2011 British horror comedy film Attack the Block. They are a race of hostile extraterrestrials that arrived in cocoon-like meteoroids that fell to Earth, intending to populate the planet for their own race. These extraterrestrials travel through space in cocoons that resemble meteoroids, searching for habitable planets. Upon landing, the only female in the pack emits a pheromone that attracts the males to mate and propagate their species on the planet. Their body shape is similar to quadruped gorillas, with claws and sharp fangs. They lack eyes but are highly sensitive to smells and sounds. The males have dark, luminescent fur with neon turquoise fangs. The females are pale and hairless, as well as smaller and weaker compared to the males. While they apparently do not possess great intellect and have no other goal than to simply reproduce, the aliens are extremely aggressive and fierce creatures that will eagerly kill anything that stands in their way to reach the female. These extraterrestrials are quadrupeds with long legs, armed with large bear-like claws and several rows of sharp fangs. They have no visible eyes, nostrils, or ears and communicate through sounds, screeches, screams, and growls. They are also a sexually dimorphic species. The females are the size of a dog and almost completely hairless, while the males are the size of a gorilla and have a very thick layer of fur that is so black it does not reflect light at all. It is also noted that the males have glowing bioluminescent fangs, which were initially mistaken for eyes. Their blood is dark blue. It has been theorized that these extraterrestrials are invaders that float through space on solar winds, looking for a planet to infest. When the female finds a suitable planet, she excretes a musk-like fluid for the males to track her, and then reproduces after landing on the planet, populating their new home. The fluid itself can be seen with ultraviolet light, though the males will relentlessly track anything that carries the fluid, including other living creatures. Number 5. Critters. The Critters are the main antagonists and monsters of the Critters film series. These small alien creatures resemble porcupines or hedgehogs. They have large, round bodies covered in a layer of black fur. In the first film, the Critters' fur is styled to show their stomach, but in later films, it is also covered in fur. They have small limbs with tiny claws on both hands and feet. A prominent feature is their large mouths, which take up most of their face and are filled with multiple rows of sharp teeth, which they use to attack and devour their prey. They lack visible nostrils, but have a wide, flat snout and feature characteristic red eyes, which sometimes appear fluorescent from a distance. The Critters appear slightly larger in each sequel, and their fur seems wilder and more pointed, unlike the smooth appearance in the first installment. The hair is generally black, but variations in brown and blue are not uncommon. The Critters are known in the series for voraciously eating almost everything in sight, but in Critters 2, it is revealed that they are carnivores by nature and prefer live meat. The Critters are seen eating electrical cables, stuffed animals, livestock, chickens, and even a goldfish. They are also seen eating a dog as well as dog food, firewood, vegetables, the entire contents of a burger restaurant, and even frozen hamburgers. In Critters 3, they delight in paint, mops, cakes, beans, and even liquid detergent. In Critters 4, they consume some of the materials in an experimental laboratory. When eating, they usually do not leave their food unless threatened or disturbed by humans. These creatures behave mischievously, but have a ferocious appetite that turns deadly when they seek food. Generally, the Critters will attack in groups, and one of them will initiate the attack, while the others attack afterwards to take down their prey. For travel, the Critters can walk but commonly curl into a ball and roll. They also have the ability to roll over terrain, gathering enough momentum to launch themselves from a position and reach quite long distances. If the Critters encounter more than one human or feel sufficiently threatened, they generally shoot venomous spines that can incapacitate their targets until the spine is removed. In terms of intelligence, the Critters are more than capable of working together to reach their prey. This is seen when the Critters formulate a plan to access a room through ventilation ducts. Later, they also deduce that they can use the elevator shaft to reach humans near the ceiling. In Critters 2, when the Critters are trapped in a burning factory, they use a defensive mechanism in which the Critters combine into a single large ball. It is evident that these aliens are very intelligent and can perfectly operate a spaceship and even maliciously destroy a farm using the ship's weapons. The Critters need to eat enough before laying eggs, but it is unclear how they reproduce, as it is never shown or discussed in the films. It is also unknown if the Critters have specific genders or if they reproduce asexually. One theory is that the Critters are true hermaphrodites. This would explain the rapid population growth shown, as any mating would result in both individuals producing a clutch of eggs. However, it can be assumed that their fertility rate is high, given the large number of eggs present in the films. Number 4. Parasites, the faculty. This exotic species lived on a planet entirely composed of oceans. For unknown reasons, their planet began to die, so they decided to go to Earth and take control of it to survive. They arrived in a small Ohio town called Harrington and infected the teachers of the local high school, then the students, and later all the town's inhabitants. However, a group of uninfected students managed to kill the alien queen with a diuretic drug which killed all the aliens simultaneously. The aliens are very similar to fish or tadpoles in appearance, but also possess tentacles. Although they are aquatic, they can live outside of water if they hydrate regularly. Like insects, they have a queen and are telepathically connected to her, meaning if she dies, all the other aliens die as well. The queen is much larger than the other aliens, and her appearance is much more monstrous. She is also much stronger and more powerful. Their most notable ability is to control humans by entering their ears. When they control humans, they apparently retain their memories, but completely alter their personalities. For example, a shy and inhibited person becomes more outgoing and outspoken, and a reckless and dominant person becomes more understanding and compassionate. They are also capable of duplicating themselves and possess limited shape-shifting abilities. Moreover, they are practically immortal, as they can survive even if cut into pieces. Even human hosts possess impressive regenerative powers. They can reattach the host's limbs if cut off, and can also survive bullets and decapitations. The queens have greater shape-shifting abilities, and can even change their size and turn into humans. They can also give birth to many aliens simultaneously by spitting out larvae and have colossal strength. These aliens cannot survive without water. Therefore, they need to hydrate constantly when in human bodies. If their host is too old or ill, they eventually die from dehydration. But their most notable weaknesses are diuretic drugs, which are lethal to them. Number 3. Unknown alien race. Species. Professor Herman Cromwell claims that the original species originated in the Large Magellanic Cloud, the only other place in the universe where life based on carbon was apparently discovered. It is also stipulated that they were a cancerous race that visited Mars millions of years ago, when its surface was similar to Earth's and annihilated all life on its surface before leaving remnants of their DNA in its soil. Humanity's first interaction with this particular species occurred in 1994 when the SETI project, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, received a pair of messages from outer space. The first message contained a more efficient use of methane, while the second contained a DNA sequence along with instructions on how to mix it with human DNA. As the first message was seen as a friendly contact, scientists went ahead and performed the fusion. 3 living organisms were created, 2 of which were put into frozen stasis in liquid nitrogen, while the third, a female, was allowed to grow under the code name Syl. Later, Syl was succeeded by several more generations of the species. The hybrid creatures essentially appear to be bipedal humanoid forms, except for Patrick Ross, a male of the species. Patrick Ross appears to have 2 types of alien forms, bipedal and quadrupedal. Both genders of the species have chitinous skeletal bodies that are semi-transparent. The mouth has 2 jaws and they possess hair-like tentacles. The species also has the ability to shapeshift between human and alien forms, as well as a limited capacity to transform their alien shapes for the purpose of adapting to given situations. The DNA structure of the species is extremely versatile and is in constant evolution and mutation, which in turn grants them incredible regenerative abilities, making them immortal in the fact that they can only be killed if every last piece of their body is destroyed. Most of the members of the species seen are actually mutations of humans. However, a pure form was seen, taking the appearance of a tentacle-filled monster with a long mouth-like appendage that lashed out at everything nearby. The alien grew so fast it would double its size in a matter of seconds. After just over 2 minutes of life, it was killed by self-immolation. A similar creature is born from a human astronaut infected by the alien DNA. The purest of the aliens seen was Sarah, due to the fact that she was the daughter of the deceased Patrick Ross and Syl's duplicate, Eve. It is mentioned that the signal that reached Earth was transmitted through several black holes that served to hide its point of origin. The technological achievements of the species are unknown. However, their mentioned mastery of black holes is a testament to their achievements. It is unknown if the species has the capability of space travel, although a spacecraft of some sort belonging to the original alien race is mentioned. It seems plausible that if the race is advanced enough to manipulate black holes, they would also have achieved advanced space travel. The species once established a colony on Mars and consumed all of the planet's natural resources before moving on. It is unknown how they arrived on Mars, and space travel is not mentioned, leaving it open to debate. However, a character speculates that the species could literally be billions of years old. Their capabilities remain unknown, but the human hybrids show an ability to learn and absorb information extremely quickly and put that knowledge into practice. Number 2, the Slugs Slyther. The long one is a mysterious alien parasite and the only one of its kind. It travels through the universe in search of life forms to kill and delight in, and is bent on consuming and destroying everything on the current planet it finds itself on until nothing is left. This creature exists in many parasitic forms, functioning as a conscious disease. It arrived on Earth via a meteor that landed in the fictional town of Wheelsey. The origin of this creature or how long it has lived in the universe is unknown. No details are given about its habitat, except that it came from outer space. It arrived on Earth in a meteor, but since not much is known about the conditions of its home world, the nature of its arrival is also speculative. It has been mentioned that it has existed for 1 billion years, meaning it has been existing, consuming, and destroying other worlds for some time. The long one exists in many physical forms. Although not explicitly mentioned, it can be classified into 4 entities or forms. These are the needle, the main host, the womb, and the slugs. The creature's goal is total destruction and consumption, and this cannot be achieved through a single physical form, especially not in the form of a small needle. This means that as terrifying as the main host is, it cannot kill every individual without the threat of annihilation. To control more people, it needs to spread parts of itself in the form of slugs, which can infect and control other hosts and eventually result in global assimilation. The complicated life cycle of this alien can be summarized in these 6 events. The needle is the original form of the creature. It shoots itself into a host and proceeds to systematically control it, becoming the main host. The main host impregnates another host to act as a womb. The womb is continuously fed raw flesh by the main host. It is implied that the consumption allows the synthesis of the slugs, which burst when the womb's body can no longer grow. The main host can create as many wombs as needed, although initially it focuses on one since it is difficult to feed. The slugs find other hosts to control, entering through the mouth and settling in the posterior brain, controlling basic movement. When the main host is no longer threatened, the hosts controlled by the slugs merge with the long one, creating an even more massive creature. The long one leaves its original needle form when everything has been consumed. However, its method for moving to another planet is not mentioned. Number 1, the Thing. The Thing is a shape-shifting extraterrestrial organism that is extremely hostile and the main antagonist of the 1982 science fiction film of the same name, its 2011 prequel, video games, and comics. The Thing has the ability to assimilate other life forms to survive and spread. The original physical characteristics and motivations of this creature are unknown, as it could have assimilated hundreds, if not thousands, of other species before crashing on Earth. Unlike most creatures, the Thing does not possess a standard inherent anatomy. It is very possible that the Thing is a colonial organism whose assimilation instructions are transmitted at a genetic level. The changing nature of the Thing means that its biology can be the same as the organism it has replicated or is in the process of replicating. The creature has the ability to reconstitute after immense damage and is invulnerable to most conventional forms of attack. However, it is vulnerable to fire and acid, as both destroy the creature at a cellular level. It is very tolerant of cold temperatures, going into cryogenic stasis until unsuspecting victims find it. When it changes his form, it abruptly expands, creating an array of bizarre and frightening shapes. This includes parts of bodies it has previously absorbed, like tentacles, limbs resembling those of insects, eyes, teeth, claws, and even faces. It then rearranges its cells to take on the appearance it wants. The Thing is also capable of continuing normal functions even when lacking eyes, ears, sense of smell, or other ways of interacting with the environment, and is capable of producing such organs or appendages to perform those functions. In the 2011 prequel film, American paleontologist Kate Lloyd discovers that the creature is incapable of imitating non-living or inorganic material, such as metals or plastics, when she finds a small pool of blood with metal fillings, assuming that the creature spit them out when it assimilated its victim. Any form of the Thing is capable of wielding great amounts of strength, speed, and endurance, as in the case of the Thing kennel, which subdued and assimilated several sledge dogs, and especially the centipede thing, which overpowered Jonas in seconds, despite the significant size difference. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.